particular warm welcome to our friends watching online around the world. As I promised earlier, a bit of a theme of AI going on now for the rest of the afternoon. So it's a real pleasure to introduce Olivier Berrouiguet from Synertrade to talk about smart AI. Olivier, thank you.
Thank you. Thank everyone here in the room and online. So I will introduce today our vision of what should be smart AI for procurement. Few words of our company, Synertrade. Some of you may know us. We have been in this business, eProcurement, for like 20 years. We do source-to-pay solutions. Historically, we have started by being pioneers of the upstream, as we call it, which means the SRM, the sourcing part. And then we became a full source-to-pay 10 years ago with the P2P part. So that's Synertrade. We are present in over 20 countries in the world. We have 6 offices in Europe and US, and we have a great bunch of customers that we'd like to expand with these kind of solutions I'm going to talk about. First of all, a few words about this thing that happened even not a year ago. It was only months ago. The Gen AI. It was like a revolution in the IT industry where the promise of having a very smart IT, which is usable by anyone without having heavy programs, transformation, whatever, ready to use now. I think very often people forget that it was just like 10 months ago, or 11 months ago. It's like really recent. Because of the hype, everybody has been thinking in the business, outside the business, whoa, it's going to change everything in our lives. And yes, but it would take maybe longer than what people expect, and because of a few things we're going to share. First of all, the main thing is that Gen AI is only a part of the AI world. I mean, one of the big AI tools that everybody uses every day, I think, is Google. It's been there for many, many years. At the engineering school, I was doing my first copy and paste document thanks to OCR, and it was like 30 years ago, or 25 years ago. So AI was existing somehow. Data manipulation existed a long time ago. What we see is that Gen AI enabled a very easy to understand, easy to use, perceived way to do things. What we see is that AI is a bit more complex than that. There is many AIs that are all on this hype curve from Gartner. You can see that they are all on the left part, which means not that mature yet. And you can see that the Gen AI is at the top of the curve, where everybody thinks, well, it's going to solve a lot of things. And then, as usual, and this hype curve is quite solid over the last 50 years or so, to demonstrate there will be a phase where the hype is going to get down. Why? Because people are going to start to play with this new technology. I think you've been through that, we've been through that, and then realize that it cannot solve everything. There is no one-size-fits-all situation with this Gen AI tool, which is a fantastic tool, but it cannot solve all of your situation, all of our situation in procurement. It needs to be dedicated to some cases. And in addition to that, we see the fantastic opportunity having all of these technology coming up that are accelerating in the way they can be used and have to be used for our solutions. So main thing is, as again, I very often quote Gartner, good source of information, AI does not revolve around Gen AI, which means it's not Gen AI that it is the center of all the AI situation, AI tools that we can use. That might be obvious for some of us in the room, but sometimes it's not that obvious for non-experts in IT in AI. What is obvious, though, is that it will be, I would say, somehow business as usual. It's going to be a mix of understanding the situation, defining what is the right set of tools, the right set of technologies that have to be combined together in order to solve this or that issue. And as procurement world, environment, we have a lot of issues, a lot of challenges to address and to solve. So the main situation, the main opportunity for these technologies are to be assembled, gathered together in order to have the best strategy for each situation. That's what we think at Synertrade. Yeah, I like this part of the slide. It's like my personal touch, very easy to understand, I think. This is what I can do over weekends when I try to do some home things. It doesn't work. You cannot use a tool like that for this kind of object. You need to have a very good understanding of what is doing Gen AI and other AIs in order to solve a problem. Gen AI have fantastic opportunities in terms of helping you when you want to use it, what it has been designed for, which means understanding large language model and helping you to solve or find information inside a complex set of words and documents. But it has some other limitation. It doesn't help you to clean a database. It doesn't help you to automate some of the exercises or operation you need to put together. It has limitations, and it is really what we hear from the market there and there is that today we have a set of limitation from what has been tried out in different situations with different technologies in Europe, in the US, and what is observable. I mean, my former company used to be in e-health, which is totally different from what we talk here, and health has been built around the evidence-based medicine, which means when you get an evidence of something, you can measure. In this situation, in our business in procurement, it's a bit hard to demonstrate the impact of this or this technology, but what we're sure of is when it doesn't work, you can see it. Very often we have some feedback from Gen AI, well, it's limited because we cannot get what we want on time. We have more to do to ask the right question than to get the right answer. And this is where what I put is like the lever should not be heavier than the burden. We should have a tool that really helps us. Again, it does work from Gen AI, for Gen AI only if and when we have the right situation for this technology. And last but not least, we are convinced that the what for come first. The what for is very often what is forgotten, which means the real question about what is that I want to solve as a CPO, as a procurement leader, as any role that can have into a procurement organization. What is that I really want to measure? What is the impact? What is the KPI I want to measure? Very often it's not that easy, and we understand that perfectly in Synertrade, because we are also delivering services, procurement services, which means the ability to have the procurement understanding of where is the issue, what is the issue, and also the service, the IT services, to make that, as I call, land, to make it happen in terms of IT platform, which is easy to say, more difficult to do, because you have a lot of things to do. So the what for is always very important to prepare what should be the right strategy to develop these kind of tools. And oops, it's not that good, so I'm going to name them. At least what to remember in this list is the color. This is Gen AI native document contract management. It's really obviously native for a very immediate result. It's been demonstrated. It's easy to observe that it works in terms of how could I manage my documents, which means you can have data recognition or data capture into a document and or working on set of documents such as contract. What is a lot more difficult is to get some decisions based on criteria that are not that understood by Gen AI pure technology. What is not easy, for instance, is to get, if I get deep learning, supplier performance, for instance, you have multi-criteria, and very quickly it becomes complex. I mean, procurement has been ignored. That's what I think. I've been in this business only for 3 years. As a complex industry, but it is, because you have to manipulate multi-factor situation, which is a mix of, it has to be compliance, it has to be efficient, it has to be saving, but not only 1 year, but few years. It has to be strategic in the way we manipulate our value chain and supply chain, etc., etc. So as it is complex, the expectation you have from the stakeholders are high and complex, and therefore you need to assemble together the right set of data and tools in order to manipulate this different situation. So we have, what we do at Synertrade, we list the different use cases, and again, sorry for the capture, it's not that clear on the screen, in order to refine and define what is our strategy and where we start from. The source-to-pay software enable us to execute processes. We have 24 best practices that we have for SRM, S2C, P2P. I would say the, in brackets, standard way of working, the different situations, spend management, SRM, evaluation of supplies, etc. Where it becomes difficult for you and for us as well is when, oh yeah, but I want to have this view of this situation, of this impact. And then we enter the world of the complex data. What we have done so far in the history of Synertrade, because we have been pioneer in this SRM and this evaluation of suppliers and tender and auctions sector since 20 years plus, that we have started to develop some BI tools, which is to me the stone age of data manipulation. It's only a view of a situation. It's not where you as procurement people are expected, or we as procurement people are expected. People, the stakeholders around us expect a lot more, and this is what we need to provide them with. So this is where we're gonna focus on in terms of resources and project. Multi-risk management, supply chain, ESG, financial, cyber security, all the risk management which has to be 360-degree around procurement and addressable to different stakeholders is what we're going to deliver through our offer, which we call Data Fabric, Procurement Data Fabric, which is going to be a place where we're going to be able to get many information from many places, internal, external, and propose the right set of tool analytics based on the right AI tools. Because Gen AI, again, is not going to solve everything, and the expectation from the different stakeholders and the company you work in and for are going to be high, because the more AI diffuse and penetrate in your companies, the more the expectation, the bigger the expectation will be. So we're going to start with a multi-risk management supply chain. We're going to work on onboarding, which seems to be simple, but it seems to be like a big elephant in the room still. In 2024, a lot of companies do not onboard in the right manner. Why? Because it's too much information, it's too long, it's too complex, it's very, very often manual. Even large company, I wouldn't name it, of our customer, they have a manual or half manual process based on Excel to manipulate sometimes 50, 60, 70,000 suppliers onboarding process, which is unbelievable. But it's the situation as we speak, so that's why we address and we want to address this. And again, Gen AI will not solve everything. To onboard, we will need to have some other tools, 2 or 3, to manipulate those big database. Compliance boards with intuitive analytics, that's another topic we're going to focus and concentrate on. We know that for the procurement people, teams, P2P can be executed quite well. The spend rather under control. I'm careful because we see very lot of situation that we are missing a lot of data, but it's really, again, around what is happening on compliance, where you have another set of demands, another set of regulation arriving. It's like, I've been in this business recently, it's like 3 or 4 waves I've seen of another set of regulation that is coming over, another set of things you need to know about your suppliers that is on the table. So you need to react quickly, and very often it's manual. Therefore, your team are not that efficient or getting under burden. And this is also what we're going to work on, which is a mix of having the right set of processes, the right set of data, and the right analytic tool in order to help you to delegate, share the work on the compliance team in an efficient manner. And last but not least, working capital performance. It seems to be, new in brackets, another pressure that procurement has, which is contributing to the working capital control, the cash. That's also something which is multi-factor in order to be managed real-time in an efficient manner. And again, it's all about data and decision around data. So that's what we do at Synertrade. I don't know whether it was too long or something. Might be. And basically, we can meet you on the exhibition. I forgot the place of the booth, but it's... So, thank you. and happy to discuss further with all of you. Thank you.
Are there any immediate questions for Olivier off the back of that? Apart from, I'll just get this absolutely straight. How can I use AI, you're saying, is the wrong question to ask? What is the right question I should be asking Synertrade?
So the right question is, again, maybe it's going to sound basic. What do you want to do? What is your KPI? Start from the beginning. Very often we have customers and prospects that say, "Oh, I want this this tool." So, yeah, but the history have demonstrated that you have many tools, and it sometimes very often doesn't work. So the question is, again, easy to say, more difficult to do, but that's the only way. And the successful customer we have been doing that, which means, okay, let's start to say to us what is that we want to have as a result. If it is compliance, let's take it seriously, meaning let's see what is a KPI. What do we want to show to the stakeholders and to our team that we are a supplier which is compliant to the compliance regulations, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the what for question I've mentioned is really, really important before you start to invest any time or money.
Thank you, Olivier, for 2 minutes, because you're back here for a panel discussion.
I will.
On AI in procurement and supply chain in just a couple of minutes while we reorganize the stage. So stay with us for that.
Thank you.
Olivier, thank you.